Okay, first I want to go over your number 4 and 5 that I asked you to do yesterday. So I'm going to work several of these with you in case you guys are confused. The vertex, though, hopefully that was easy. That's the point 1, 4, because you go right 1 and up 4. The axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Your zeros are where the graph touches the x-axis, which are at -1 and +3. And then factored form, I thought I'd run through that with you. So factored form, remember, this has to do where the graph is touching the x-axis. So if it's touching the x-axis at -1, then we will have x plus 1. And if it's touching the x-axis at a +3, then we'll have x minus 3 for our factor. And it's okay if you wrote x minus 3 here and x plus 1 here. That's okay. These two can be flip-flopped. But you need a plus with the 1 and a minus with the 3. Remember, the factor has to be the opposite sign. So if this is a +3, this is a -3. If this is a -1, this is a +1. Now, do you think your A is going to be positive or negative? It's going to be negative because the graph is opening down. Now, it might be hard to tell what you do right 1 because you can't see the grids, but let's try going left 1. If I go left 1, how many does it take to hit the graph? Going down 1. If I go down 1, I hit the graph. And so my A is a -1. So it's kind of hard to tell that if you go right 1 that it's down 1, but it's easy to tell if you go left 1 that it's down 1 to hit the graph. And I know it has to be negative because the graph is opening down. Okay, let's multiply this out. So first, I'm going to take x times the x minus 3. So x times x is x squared. X times -3 is -3x. Now I'm going to distribute the 1 with the x minus 3. So 1 times x is 1x. And 1 times -3 is -3. I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms real quick. I don't have to, but I'm going to. So -3x plus 1x makes a -2x. I'm going to drop the -3 that's in the back. And I'm going to drop the x squared that's in the front. Now, I need to remember that there's a -1 that I need to multiply with all of this. So I'm going to drop my -1, and I'm going to multiply it with everything I just got. Okay, so if I take -1 times x squared, that's a -1x squared or -x squared. If I take -1 times -2x, that's a +2x. If I take -1 times -3, that's a +3. And there's my equation in standard form. So standard form comes from just multiplying out your factored form. Okay, vertex form. Remember, this has to do with how your vertex got to its location. So my vertex got here from 0, 0 by going right 1 and up 4. So right 1 and up 4. That's what the vertex did. Right 1, up 4. So remember, to make something go left or right, you need parentheses. So I need parentheses with the squared on the outside. And to make it go right 1, what kind of sign do you think it's going to be? Minus. Inside is always opposite. To make something go up or down, you need that number in the back. So do you think to make it go up, you want a plus or a minus? A plus. The back does what you would think. Plus is up, minus is down. But inside is opposite. Minus is right, plus is left. And then don't forget our A. So remember, we found A to be -1, and here it's still a -1. So here it's going to be -1 too. And you can either put -1 or just the negative. It's up to you. Okay, domain is all real numbers because the graph goes forever to the left and forever to the right. The range is y is less than or equal to 4 because 4 is the highest y, and when the graph goes down, the y's get less. Okay, number 5. This is what your answer should look like. To make it go right 8, we need a -8 inside the parentheses. To make it go up 1, we need a +1 in the back. And to make it stretch or compress, that number goes in the front. And so to stretch by 3, we put a 3 in the front. Okay, so now to put this in standard form. I thought I would just go ahead and do this because I figure of all the things you're struggling with, it might be this So first, I'm going to write this twice, because when you square something, it means take it times itself. So x minus 8 squared means to take x minus 8 times x minus 8. Okay, so now I'm going to multiply this out. So I'm going to take x times both things in the back, and then I'm going to take negative 8 times both things in the back. So here I go with the x. X times x is x squared. X times negative 8 is negative 8x. Now I'm going to take negative 8 times both things in the back. So negative 8 times x is negative 8x, and negative 8 times negative 8 is a positive 64. Now I could go ahead and combine like terms right now if I want, but I still have this 3 to deal with and the plus 1 to deal with, so I'm actually going to just wait. Okay, so let's talk about this 3. This 3 is smushed against the parentheses, so I need to multiply my 3 with all of this. So I'm going to put parentheses around this and drop my 3. Now this plus 1 that's in the back, I'm going to drop him, and I'll add 1 once I'm done multiplying all of the stuff in parentheses with the 3. Okay, so here we go. So 3 times x squared makes 3x squared. 3 times negative 8x makes negative 24x. 3 times another negative 8x is another negative 24x. 3 times 64. I keep giving you guys big numbers. I'm so sorry about that. So 3 times 64, what is that? 192. And then this plus 1 that's in the back, I'm just going to drop it. All right, at this point, I want to combine like terms. So there are no other x squareds to combine with the 3x squared, so I'm just going to drop the 3x squared. Now, what do you get if you combine a negative 24x and a negative 24x? A negative 48x. And then what do you get if you combine a 192 and a positive 1? A 193. And there's our answer in standard form. So I know I asked you to do this yesterday, and hopefully you guys didn't struggle, but I figured if any of you struggled or if any of you made a mistake, maybe it would be good to see me work it out for you. Okay, so today we are looking at this paper called Practice Over Quadratics Part 2. All right, so the first 4, we're trying to figure out which graph below matches the equation. And all of these equations are in vertex form because of the parentheses. Now this one doesn't have parentheses, so this really is standard form, but I can tell what the vertex is doing very easily as well when it's written like this. Okay, so first of all, I want to highlight the X and Y axis on these A, B, C, D choices because they kind of are hard to tell on some of them. A is not a big deal. So this is my y-axis and this is my x-axis. Now B, this one might be a little bit trickier. Because of that 0 right there, I know that that's my y-axis. The x-axis is a little bit darker, but it's kind of hard to tell. Now C, it's almost impossible to tell. I can tell this one's darker and this one's darker, but I don't know that you could have. So I'm going to highlight those for us. And then D is this. Now your picture is going to look a little bit better than mine. My printer is about out of ink, so that's why mine don't look so hot. Okay, so first of all, we notice that there's 2 graphs opening up and there are 2 graphs opening down. So let's just find the graphs that would open down. So when you're looking at these equations, which ones are going to open down? 3 and 4 are going to open down because of the negatives. So I know that picture A and B have to be number 3 or number 4. Okay, so remember in the parentheses, that's left or right. So minus makes it do what? It makes the vertex go right 1. In the back, that's up or down. So what's the plus 2 make it do? It makes it go up 2. So let's see which vertex went right 1 and up 2. And I'm only going to look at A and B because they're opening down. So did this vertex go right 1 and up 2? It sure did. Let's look at B. Did B go right 1 and up 2? Nope. So I know that this one is A. Okay, so now looking at this one, because there's no parentheses, it does not go left or right. So the number in the back, remember, is up or down. So the +1 makes it go up 1. Well, let's look at B. Did B's vertex just go up 1? It sure did. So that is letter B. Now C and D are opening up, so they have to belong to number 1 and number 2 because number 1 has a positive in front and number 2 has a positive. Okay, so how does this make your vertex move? The -1 inside, what's it going to make it do? Go right 1. And what about the -4 in the back? That's down 4. So let's see which vertex went right 1 and down 4. So let's look at C. If I go right 1 and down 4, is my vertex there? No. But if I look at D and go right 1 and down 4, is my vertex there? It sure is. So this is D, which means this one has to be C. The +1, just to practice, makes it go left. When it's in the parentheses, it's always opposite, and the -9 in the back makes it go down. And that's exactly what C's vertex does. It goes left 1, down 9. Okay, so remember, if you see a negative in the front, that's going to mean that the graph opens down, and so that gave us a 50-50 chance of getting those two right. All right, now these, we are going to try to write their equations in vertex form. Don't forget to pay attention to stretches and compressions, which means pay attention to your A. All right, so I need to know how the vertex got to its location. So this vertex got here by going right 1 and up 3. So right 1, up 3. Remember, if you ever want to make something go left or right, you need parentheses. So to make it go right 1, I need x -1. To make it go up 3, that goes in the back, and that would be +3. Now, let's figure out our A. After I go right 1, what does it take to do to hit the graph? After I go right 1, it takes going up 1, 2. It takes going up 2 to hit the graph. So my A is a 2. And I can also do it by, when you go left 1, what's it take? It takes going up 2 to hit the graph. So right 1 or left 1, and then what does it take to hit the graph? If it takes going up 1 to hit it, your A is a 1. If it takes going up 2 to hit it, your A is a 2. Okay, let's look at number 6. So vertex form. First, I want to know how my vertex got to this location. So it went left 2 and down 3. So left 2 and down 3. All right, so left or right, remember we need parentheses for that business. So to make it go left, what do you think you need inside? X +2. And to make it go up or down, that goes in the back. So to make it go down 3, what do you think? -3. Okay, and then now let's figure out our A. So after I go right 1, what does it take to do to hit the graph? It takes going up 1/2. I only had to go up 1/2 to hit the graph. So my A is a 1/2. Okay, so what I'm asking you guys to do is the second page to this. There's only 4 problems, and it's just asking you to match which picture goes with which equation. Okay, so this shouldn't take you very long. You should be able to get this done like in a matter of 30 seconds to a minute, I think. All right, so 7, 8, 9, and 10. I want you to take a picture of your work and post to Canvas. All right, Mr. Collin. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.